Hello, today I'm going to be reviewing Sky Two GX, which is the latest mid-tower case from Montech. It is based on their original Sky Two case, but with some major improvements. In terms of price, it's going to set you back $89 for the black version and an extra $6 for the white version. So let's dive in and take a closer look. So with the new improved GX version of Sky Two, the tempered glass panel is now a door. It's magnetically attached at the front. We can simply open the door up, and then to remove it, we just need to lift it up. To remove our other side panel, we've got two captive thumb screws at the back we need to loosen, and once they've been loosened, we can pull the panel backwards and lift away. There's a magnetically attached dust filter which can simply be lifted away for cleaning. Taking a look at our case's top I/O, we've got a power and reset button, we've got two USB Type A ports, a single Type C port, and a separate headphone and microphone jack. To remove our case's top panel, we've got a captive thumb screw at the back we need to loosen, and then we're going to be able to pull the panel backwards and lift up and away. If we take a look at the back of the panel we've just removed, you'll notice there's no additional dust filters, and Montech are going with just mesh at the top. Our case's front panel is magnetically attached. You can get your finger in at the bottom and simply pull it away. If we take a look at the back of the panel, you'll notice there's no additional dust filters, and Montech are going with just mesh at the front. With our front mesh panel removed, you can see that Montech have installed three 140mm ARGB PWM fans. If you prefer at the front, it is possible to mount up to a 360 or 280mm radiator, and it's also possible to mount up to three 120mm fans. At the top of the case, you can mount up to three 120 or two 140mm fans, or up to a 360 or 280mm radiator. Another improvement Montech have done with the GX version of Sky Two is the thickness for fans and radiators at the top has been improved by 10mm up to 66mm. At the rear of the case, it's up to 120mm fan or radiator. While on the side of the case, it is possible to fit up to two 120mm fans. To do this, you are going to have to remove this panel. So you'll notice we've got this knob at the top, and the line is pointing down the way. In this position, it is locked. To open it up, you just need to turn it 90 degrees. It doesn't matter which way you turn it. And in the horizontal position, the panel is now free. It can be simply tilted out from the top and removed from the case. And you can see with the panel removed, we've now got mounting holes for mounting two 120mm fans. There isn't any radiator support on the side. If you're not planning on going with fans on the side, you see we do have mounting holes for mounting two 2.5-inch drives on the side of the case. Our final fan mounting location is on the bottom of the case, and we're going to be able to mount two 120mm fans on the bottom of the case. You can see we've got screw holes here. You're simply going to set your fans on top and use long radiator screws to go down through the fans, securing them to the bottom of the case, and Montech do include these in the case accessory box. So if you do want to mount fans in the power supply side, you're not going to have to worry about them getting plenty of airflow, because we've got this nice perforated panel down at the bottom of the case. It is actually removable. There's two screws at the back we're going to need to remove, and then we're going to be able to slide the panel backwards into the side to remove it. So I'm not really sure why you're going to want to remove the panel. Montech do show it as an option in the manual, which is why I've showed you, but I imagine most people are going to be leaving this panel in place. In terms of motherboard support, the case supports motherboards up to A80X in size, and if you want to go with a CPR killer, the maximum height supported is 168mm. At the rear of the case, we've got 7 horizontal PCI expansion slot brackets, and these are now secured on with thumb screws. In terms of graphics card support, the maximum length supported is up to 400mm. It is possible to mount your graphics card vertically using Montech's vertical GPU mounting bracket, although this has to be picked up at extra cost. In terms of rubber grommets, we've got rubber grommets over towards the right-hand side of the motherboard, and we've also got one on our power supply side to bring your GPU cables through. And on the bottom of the case, we've got a removable dust filter over our power supply's intake fan that can simply be pulled out from the back for cleaning. So another improvement that Montech have made with the GX version of this case is they've improved the cable routing space. This is now up to 25mm, an extra 5mm from the original Sky Two case. So the extra space should help with cable routing, and it's also good to see we've got Velcro cable straps down the centre of the case. You can see at the top of the case we've got a combined ARGB and PWM fan hub, and our three pre-installed case fans are connected up to it. We've got an additional 3 ARGB and 3 4-pin PWM ports at the top if you want to add extra fans in, and you are going to be able to connect this up to your motherboard for both PWM and ARGB control. We've got two dedicated 2.5-inch drive mounting brackets behind our motherboard. Our power supply is going to go down at the bottom, and the case is compatible with full-size ATX power supplies up to a maximum length of 210mm. There's no removable power supply mounting bracket at the back, so you're going to have to insert your power supply in from the side before screwing it in from the back. On the bottom of the case, we've got our hard drive cage, and it has two drive trays. They're each held on with a captive thumb screw, and once we have removed the thumb screw, we can pull the drive cage out, and you can see in this top one we've got our instruction manual and our case accessory box. So in each of these drive trays, you're going to be able to mount either a 2.5 inch or 3.5 inch drive. This is everything that comes in our case accessory box, and there's no need to go search in the manual to find out what screw you use where, because it says on the individual bag that they're packaged in. As well, we've got things like our standoff insertion and removal tool, we've got loads of cable ties, Velcro cable straps, and we've got a front panel connector extension cable. So taking a look at our temperatures, our Ryzen 7 7800X3D idled at 36 degrees and reached a maximum of 82 degrees during a 10-minute idle 64 stability test. Our RTX 4080 idled at 26 degrees and reached a maximum of 63 degrees during the stability test. In terms of noise levels, the average noise levels at idle were 36 decibels and under load 44 decibels. So now I want to come on to my experience of building in the case, and in general it was a pretty easy case to build in. There is just a couple of things to point out. The first is removing the panel over to the right hand side of the motherboard. Initially I found this quite difficult to work out what I had to do with the knob at the top to remove it. If you just remember, when the notch is sitting in the vertical position, it's locked, and if you turn it around 90 degrees so the notch is horizontal, you're going to be able to remove the panel from the top. Next thing to mention, that despite Montech having increased the cable management space at the back of the case by 5mm, I still did find it quite tight getting the side panel back on again, and there was a little bit of a bulge in the back of the side panel when I was trying to close it. I didn't have a very complicated build, and these were just some daisy chain connectors coming from AIO fans that I had managed into the middle of the case. So if this was going to be a more long-term build, I would have to spread those cables out more over the case. Final thing to mention is I did try using Montech's own vertical GPU bracket. This was a little bit difficult to install. First of all, I tried installing the bracket into the case and then installing the graphics card afterwards. This didn't work because I wasn't able then to put the screws in. Second thing with this is the bracket is also installed in quite a high position. I just didn't think it looked good. It was blocking the RAM, it was blocking the AIO pump, and it was making the tubes from the AIO go at a really awkward angle. So while vertical GPUs do look well in some cases, in this case I didn't think it worked well, and I would recommend keeping your graphics card horizontally, where it's going to look much better and it's not going to cost you any extra money to do it. So moving on to the things I liked about the case, and I think the first thing I like about this case is the value for money it offers. For only $89, you're getting a really good case with good build quality. You're getting three 140mm PWM ARGB fans, which run lovely and cool and quiet and look good while doing so. It also comes with a nice PWM and ARGB hub. You're going to be able to fit all your large modern hardware in the case, and you get one of the best case accessory boxes you're going to get with any case, with absolutely everything in it. All the screws individually labelled, screws that you're not even going to need, like AIO screws, and you get the standoff insertion and removal tool, loads of Velcro cable straps and cable ties. It's also great to see that Montech have organised all the front panel connectors into a single cable. So moving on to the things I didn't like about the case, and really there's only two things to say here. I would like to have seen a rear case fan included, particularly as these fans are actually pretty cheap. And the only other thing that I think was missing from the case, if you want to go with your graphics card horizontally, I think a GPU support bracket would be a useful thing to have included, particularly as the case can support really large graphics cards up to 400mm in length. So we now reached the stage in the review round to tell you should you go out and pick up this case. Now for only $89, I do think you're getting incredible value for money, and coming from Montech, as you'd expect, you're getting excellent build quality throughout and absolutely everything that you're going to need included with the case. So in terms of the things that Montech have improved with the GX version of this case, probably my favourite feature is the tempered glass door on the side. In terms of the mesh panel, that may be a pro or a con for you, but I think with the recent trend of all cases going towards the fish tank appearance, having something that is different with a mesh panel on the side is going to appeal to a lot of people. And if that is the type of case that you like, this is a pretty good case and I can 100% recommend it. If you are thinking of doing a build in the case, I have made a full step-by-step build guide and I'll put a link to that video in the description. If you have enjoyed this review, please remember to give it a thumbs up, and if you're not currently subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button as well. Thanks for watching.